Incoming Chicago Public Schools CEO Janice Jackson hasn't yet finished moving into her corner office, but she is beginning to lay out her agenda to confront ongoing challenges that include declining enrollment, troubled finances, and a state inquiry into the district's special education program. Repeating a refrain of her predecessors, Jackson said in an interview Wednesday that CPS needs more money from the state, even after state lawmakers last summer overhauled Illinois' education funding model and provided the district with hundreds of millions of new dollars. The district also needs to continue to cut costs to satisfy lenders, and deal with under-enrolled buildings that have been starved of resources as a moratorium on school closings expires, she said. "We have to do bold things," Jackson said during a string of brief media interviews. "We have to make tough decisions, if we really want to fix things. It's not okay to let these schools languish." Jackson, 40, a former CPS teacher and principal, became interim CEO in December after Forrest Claypool resigned in the face of accusations he repeatedly lied to undermine an ethics investigation by the district inspector general. The school board is expected to make her the permanent CEO at its meeting later this month. Claypool was the second consecutive schools chief under Mayor Rahm Emanuel to resign under a cloud. His predecessor, Barbara Byrd Bennett, was eventually sent to prison for her part in a kickback scheme, and Jackson acknowledged she needs to restore public trust in the massive school system. "If people don't believe in the district, if they don't believe that the district is going in the right direction, they're not believing in the work that so many people are doing at the local level," she said. Jackson takes over as the Illinois State Board of Education is launching an unprecedented inquiry into district special education practices that have encountered fierce criticism since a 2016 overhaul. The district's revamped approach included efforts to collect standardized data about students with disabilities and a revised procedural manual meant to set guidelines for schools to use when providing special education services. Advocates and community groups argue the district's changes have delayed and denied needed services to special education students. Jackson acknowledged the district went too far too fast on some of the changes. "One of the commitments that I'm making is that if they identify things that we're doing wrong, we are going to fix them," Jackson said of the state inquiry. "So, it's a good time for me to be coming in this role, because I have an opportunity to fix it." Beyond the need for additional state funding, Jackson said the district needs to pare back the immense amounts of debt it has borrowed to finance short-term operations despite a long-term cost to future city taxpayers. "I think the goal is to borrow less. Right now, we are borrowing over $1 billion a year," Jackson said. "I hope, in the next year or two, to get that well under that $1 billion amount because that will relieve some of the pressure for future generations. That means the district must continue examining ways to cut spending," she said.